The year was 1971. The war had ended, but the silence that followed was far more terrifying than the bombs that once fell. In the remote village of Kalabari, on the borderlands, stood an abandoned colonial mansion. The locals called it Bhut Mahal, the haunted house. No one went near it after sunset. They said strange lights flickered in its windows at night, and screams echoed across the fields. Captain Arjun Mehra, a young soldier recently returned from the war, arrived in the village searching for his missing unit commander, Major Rathore, who had last been seen taking shelter in that very mansion during the final days of battle. Arjun carried scars not only on his body but in his mind. The things he had seen in the war had already begun to haunt his dreams. When he reached the mansion, the heavy wooden gates creaked open by themselves. Dust and cobwebs hung thick in the air. Torn maps, bullet holes, and dried blood stained the walls, remnants of chaos long gone. The air smelled of rust and decay. Arjun called out for his commander, but his voice only echoed back distorted, as if someone, or something, was whispering it back to him. As night fell, a lantern flickered to life in one of the upstairs rooms. Thinking someone was inside, Arjun climbed the staircase, each step groaning beneath his boots. The room was empty except for a mirror, cracked in several places. In the dim reflection, he saw a shadow standing behind him, tall, still, faceless. He turned sharply, but there was no one there. When he looked back at the mirror, the reflection of the shadow lingered, now smiling. He began hearing footsteps, first distant, then circling him. He ran into another room, which looked like a war infirmary. Stretchers lay scattered, and the stench of old medicine and blood filled the air. On one of the beds lay a file marked Operation Silence, 1971. Inside were photographs, his unit, his commander, and himself. But in the last picture, he saw all of them dead. His heart pounded as he realized the photo had been taken in this very house. The whispers grew louder now, forming words. "You left us to die." Arjun froze. He remembered that night. The ambush, the screams, the orders to retreat. He had fled, leaving his men behind to perish. And now, their restless souls were calling him back. Suddenly, the door slammed shut. The temperature dropped. From the darkness, spectral figures began to emerge, soldiers in tattered uniforms, eyes hollow, faces twisted with rage. Among them was Major Rathore. "You came back," the ghost hissed, his voice echoing through the walls. "Now you'll stay." Arjun tried to escape, but the floorboards turned to mud, pulling him down. He screamed for forgiveness, but the spirits only laughed. The lantern shattered, plunging the mansion into darkness. The last thing he saw was Rathore's ghost reaching out, his cold hand pressing against Arjun's chest. And then everything went silent. Days later, the villagers noticed the mansion's windows glowing again at night. Some claimed they saw a new figure standing among the ghosts, another soldier, wandering endlessly, calling out into the dark. They said his voice sounded almost human, almost pleading. But no one dared to answer.